What are the Indianapolis Colts going to do at quarterback? Because there's been a lot of conversations about the other teams in the league, like the Steelers, the Jets, the Vikings, the Giants, the Browns, all these other teams, the Titans, what they're going to do at quarterback, who they're going to draft, who are they going to sign, who are they going to trade for. The Raiders just traded for Geno Smith, but what about the Colts? Obviously, nobody's talking about the Colts because they're a joke of an operation and they're in the Midwest and they're just irrelevant and nobody cares about them and they're not a serious contender with the current operation that they have right now with who's in the front office and everything. And I'm a Colts fan. I'm just saying that flat out. Like, I get it. I know how people look at the Colts, okay? But it still is a very interesting situation because the Colts 2 years ago or 3 years ago, whatever it was, they spent a fourth overall pick, not a fourth round pick, a fourth overall pick on Anthony Richardson. They knew he was a project. They knew he had all the talent in the world. They knew he had hardly any football playing experience compared to the other players that were in the draft, right? And 2 years later, we're talking about Chris Ballard wanting to bring in competition, and there's rumors floating around like this one right here saying the Colts have been shopping Anthony Richardson, but teams have had little interest in trading for him, which I think is a total false rumor, but it's still interesting how this is coming out. Now, this account, like I said, could totally be making this up, and I think they are, because there were rumors that at the Combine, teams were asking about Anthony Richardson, and the Colts showed little interest to them. So maybe this account got that confused. I don't think the Colts are trying to trade Anthony Richardson, but I do think they're trying to move on from him as far as like getting a new starter. I don't think they think Anthony Richardson's a starting worthy quarterback in the NFL right now. I don't think they think that, because at the end of the year, Chris Ballard said he wants to bring in some competition for Anthony Richardson. And I was like, okay, are we going to draft someone? Are we going to pick up Justin Fields? Are we going to do this? Are we going to do that? No. We have an extreme interest in Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones. You know, the last time I checked, Daniel Jones played 6 years as a starter in the NFL in the National Football League, and he showed zero signs of being a starting worthy quarterback in those 6 years. Zero signs. So what makes you think, Ballard, that if you bring him to the Colts, it's going to be any better? What makes you think it's going to be any better here with the Colts, signing in Daniel Jones and bringing him as competition? Are you out of your mind? Now, luckily, there's another report on this account, which I think is like unreliable at this point, but we're just going to act like these reports are somewhat credible, saying that Sam Darnold is not expected to return to the Vikings, and the Minnesota is looking to re-sign Daniel Jones. Now, as Colts fans, we can only pray to God that is a true rumor and they want to re-sign Daniel Jones so we don't have to deal with Daniel Jones on our roster. But what I'm thinking for the Colts here is that there's two things that they should do. I guess 3 things they should do. Okay? Number 1, if they want to bring in competition for Anthony Richardson, they draft a quarterback in the second or third round, fourth round, whatever it is, third or fourth round. Give Anthony Richardson some competition, whatever. I don't want them to do that. That's just option number 1. Option number 2, you bring in a credible quarterback to be a competition for Anthony Richardson, not Daniel Jones. You bring in someone like Justin Fields. Bring in Justin Fields, someone who has a similar archetype to Anthony Richardson, similar attributes, who's a little bit more experienced, a little bit older, a little bit more of a veteran, same high character. Bring him in for competition, okay? I think, both high character cats, I don't think it'd be an issue for them being in the locker room. I don't think they'd butt heads or anything. I think they'd be supporting each other, right? So you bring in like someone, Justin Fields, for actual quarterback competition on a 2-year deal, whatever it may be, right? So you do that. Or option number 3, I guess there might be 4. Did I say 4 options? Whatever. Option number 3, you move on from Anthony Richardson. Like, not move on as far as cut him, but you say you're the backup quarterback, and we're signing Sam Darnold to a 3-year deal for $100 million, and he's going to be our starting quarterback unless you can prove us otherwise. Like, he's going to be our starting quarterback next year, and then if you prove it to us over the course of these few next years that you can be a starting quarterback, then we'll discuss it then. But we signed Sam Darnold for 3 years, $33 million, $100 million, 3-year, $100 million contract, right? 30-something million a year. That's option number 3. And like, we move on from Anthony Richardson as far as like him being our starting quarterback, and we sign Sam Darnold as a like long-term starter. 3 years, not really long-term, but you know what I'm saying. A few-year starter. Option number 4, we keep Anthony Richardson as a backup, and we just sign a bridge quarterback. Now, you could consider Sam Darnold sort of like a bridge quarterback as well. I guess 3 years would be sort of like a bridge, like a Geno Smith type deal. But you could also bring in Aaron Rodgers. Now, do I think it would be the smartest decision or it'd be like this massive upgrade? No, I don't. I do think it would be a credible upgrade. I think it'd be 100% an upgrade from Anthony Richardson. 1,000%. We're not talking about someone who's totally washed, guys. Okay? Aaron Rodgers is still a top 18 quarterback in the NFL. I would argue he's top in the first half. He's closer to 16 than he is to 20, personally. So I think he's still a top. I think he's better than 50% of the quarterbacks in the league at the top of his game. We saw at the end of last year, he's showing flashes of being back to, a credible Aaron Rodgers. So we bring him in on a 1 to 2 year deal, 2-year deal probably, and he shows Anthony Richardson the ropes, teaches him how to be an NFL quarterback, teaches him certain things, and then Anthony Richardson starts when he's like 23, 24 years old probably, you know? Like, Anthony Richardson's my age. He's 22 right now, guys. So if Aaron Rodgers plays with us for 2 years, teaches Anthony Richardson the ropes, he's only going to be 24 when he comes back to being a starter. Like, personally, I think that'd be pretty good, okay? And we do have sort of like a win-now team. We don't have like this rebuilding roster, okay? We have Jonathan Taylor, Quentin Nelson, Braden Smith, Michael Pittman, Josh Downs, Alec Pierce. We have a good wide receiver core, a great running back. Our defense is getting better. You know, hopefully we upgrade our defensive back situation this offseason. But we have some credible linebackers. We have Latu, and I think we have a good defensive line. Like, we have a solid team is what I'm saying. We have solid players all around, and I think we're in sort of like a win now mode. So you bring in Aaron Rodgers for 2 years, try to make a little playoff push, teach Anthony Richardson the ropes, and if you couldn't tell, I want us to do that. So obviously I'm a little biased because I'm an Aaron Rodgers fan, but those are the 4 options we can do. Draft someone, bring in Justin Fields, sign Sam Darnold, or sign Aaron Rodgers. Okay, that's what I think those should be the options. If we opt to sign Daniel Jones, I don't know what I'm gonna do with myself, honestly. I don't know what I'm gonna do. I don't know if I can take this team seriously. If out of all those options, if we opt to sign Daniel Jones, we need to put the fries in the bag. Is that really like what we're like? Is that really what we're? The fact that we're even thinking that makes me heavily concerned for the future of this franchise. But like I said, the Colts are very irrelevant and a joke of an operation, so I understand how this hasn't been a huge talking point with certain talk shows on TV. Like, everyone's talking about the Steelers, the Jets, the Giants. Where's Aaron Rodgers going to go? The Raiders, they got Geno Smith. Now they're going to be talking about the Seahawks and the Vikings. Nobody has mentioned the Colts. But this is an interesting situation, especially for someone who's actually a fan of the team. And I'm hoping that we bring in Aaron Rodgers for 1 to 2 years because I don't really like this draft class. I'm not really too confident in Justin Fields. Definitely not confident in Daniel Jones. And I don't really want to like totally move on from Anthony Richardson and make Sam Darnold a long-term quarterback. So I think that's the best option personally, or that's the most interesting option. And it's good for Aaron Rodgers because we'd be playing inside, indoors, small market team, close to the Pat McAfee show. You know, he could be a respectable offensive coach. So I just think it'd be good for Aaron Rodgers. I think it'd be good for the Colts. But let me know out of those 4 options what you want the Colts to do, what you think the Colts should do, what you think about the Colts franchise if you're not a Colts fan. Like, how do other teams view this team? Like, do they view them as a joke of a franchise like I do, even though I'm a fan of the team, or they view them as like, oh, the Colts are just whatever, blah, 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 blah. Like, we're still in a weak division, guys. Aaron Rodgers, he was in a division with the Bills, and now he was going to be in a division with Mike Vrabel and the Dolphins, who, you know, are always around. Now he's in a division with 4 joke of franchises. I guess the Texans are all right, but like CJ Stroud, he showed that he wasn't gonna be this. Like, CJ Stroud is like a Jared Goff, okay? He's not some world changer over there in Houston. They just signed Christian Kirk. They have Daniel Hunt. They have an insane defense. D'Amico Ryan's a good head coach and everything, but they're not some powerhouse like the Bills, okay? They're a good team, has been winning the division, but I think, you know, we bring in Aaron Rodgers, we bring in a good corner, preferably 4 good corners, and we make a playoff push. I think we can win the division, or at least get a wild card spot. 100%, I think we can do that. I believe the Colts can do that if we bring in someone credible at quarterback over the next 1 to 2 years. I mean, the other franchises we're competing with are the Titans, who don't have a quarterback, who have an unproven coach, and the Jaguars, who just signed Liam Cohen and this other 34-year-old general manager that are currently being the joke of the league, and a quarterback in Trevor Lawrence, who has proven to basically be like one of the worst, or one of those disappointing first overall picks of all time. So yeah, I think it'd just be a weak division. I think it'd be a different story. 2 years out off the Achilles instead of 1 year off the Achilles. I think it'd be a different story if we brought in Aaron Rodgers, and I think we can make a playoff push. But let me know what you guys think about the Colts situation, what you think we should do. And yeah, I appreciate you guys watching this video. If you guys have any other ideas for me, let me know in the comments. I really want to bring this channel to new heights. And yeah, I appreciate all love and support. Make sure to drop like, subscribe, turn on post notifications, and I will see you all in the next one. Peace out.